Yes, just quick question.
Tell me.
Quick question. Are you able to allow recording, because it has got an option for recording this time?
Yeah, recording. I'm doing recording, no?
Even us, can we do recording?
No, it is recording now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
On our side, it also says there's an option for us to record.
So you're also getting the option to record?
Yes, if you can allow us to record,
Yes,
then
yes,
probably
yes.
maybe in the next lectures.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is the fourth overview session. First one is the introduction, right? The next two sessions are overview only. And this is the third session on overview, apart from the introduction to SAP S/4HANA. Just 1 minute. Somebody has logged off. Swagat. I think there is a problem with Swagat, internet. Anyhow, so deployment options. So deployment options means what are the options available to the customers when they want to use SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management Suite. This is called deployment options. So different deployment options are provided by SAP company. Number one, SAP S/4HANA On-Premise Edition. So basically, in SAP S/4HANA, two versions are available. One is on-premise edition, that is called on-premise edition. Number two, cloud version or cloud edition. You can say on-premise edition and cloud edition, or on-premise version and cloud edition, cloud version. So what are the differences between, right, on-premise edition and cloud edition, right? First, let us try to understand what is cloud edition and on-premise edition. Then we'll come back to SAP S/4HANA deployment options, right? See, in the case of on-premise edition, see, on-premise means the SAP servers, right? Database servers and application servers, everything is hosted within the premises of the client company. So cloud means, right, we can host your application and you can host your database servers on the servers provided by third parties. That is called cloud, right? Nowadays, cloud is playing very important role in every walks of life, even in every walks of technology also. So that's why SAP also has introduced a cloud version in SAP S/4HANA. So in the case of on-premise version, right, the entire software architecture and also entire application is hosted within the premises of the client company. That is called on-premise application. Then cloud application means SAP SAP S/4HANA software, enterprise management suite, HANA database, everything is hosted in the servers or the database provided by the third parties. That is called cloud. So there are different parameters to be considered while going for either premise application or application in the cloud. Technically speaking, it is only the discretion of the client companies whether they want to go for on-premise version or cloud version. So a lot of pros and cons are there for each version. So it is the will and wish of the client company to go either for on-premise application or application in the cloud. But they have to balance, right, the advantages and disadvantages of each of the version. Just here I have given the comparison between on-premise application and application in the cloud. So there are different parameters to be considered. Different attributes are there. Licensing cost, right? So in the case of on-premise edition, right, the licenses rights are perpetual, right? Once you purchase the licenses, right, you are entitled to use the software for the entire life of the company. That is called perpetual, and this is also called BYOL. BYOL means buy your own licenses. Then, in the case of application cloud, right, as I said, the database servers and application servers are entirely hosted in the third-party premises, right? The third-party storage centers, you can say database centers. In that case, right, you have to pay subscription. You have to pay subscription, right? Yearly subscription you have to pay. And this is called operational cost. In the case of on-premise edition, capital expenditure is more. Capital expenditure means one-time investment, right? Because you have to invest on the hardware, software, right? And the complete product architecture, you have to invest. That is capital expenditure. Then in the case of on-premise application, again, there is no much operating cost. Operating cost means we can say every year you need not spend anything compulsorily. But in the case of application cloud, there is no capital expenditure because the servers are hosted with the third parties. The servers are technically owned by the third parties, and in their servers, you host your application and database. So in the case of cloud version, there is no capital expenditure. One-time investment is not there, but operating cost is there. You have to pay some subscription amount every year to the third-party services. Again, that is one more difference in the case of on-premise and application cloud. In the case of on-premise, when you have to put one-time investment, again, you have to consider number of calculations. See, if you have to make investment, it may have the opportunity cost of capital. That means, suppose, if you have to invest 25 crores, right, then you have to look into the other options of investments for 25 crores. So you may have some other investment opportunities in which if you invest 25 crores, you may be getting some more extra return. This is called opportunity cost of capital. So you have to consider the opportunity cost of capital also in the case of on-premise application. In the case of application in the cloud, there is no such capital expenditure. Then product. So the product name is SAP S/4HANA 1909. See, this is 1709, right? The name has been changed. You know, every year SAP is releasing one version, right? So now the version is SAP S/4HANA 1809. OP means on-premise. That is the name of the product now. SAP S/4HANA 1909, right? Then in the case of cloud, the name of the product is SAP S/4HANA 1909 Cloud. That is the name of the product, nothing else. Then AMC, annual maintenance cost. So if you host your application within your premises, that means if you go for the on-premise edition, every year you have to pay annual maintenance cost, which is equal to 22% of your total license cost, not capital expenditure. License cost means it is the license fees paid to the company, SAP company. So the AMC will nearly amount to 22% of your license fees cost. That may be changing every year, right? Based upon the policies of the SAP company, they may increase or decrease the annual maintenance costs. But in the case of application cloud, there is no annual maintenance cost. Just one second. Yes. Then infrastructure. What about the hardware, right? See, in the case of on-premise edition, right, we have to have your own hardware. That's what I told you. In the case of on-premise application, the capital expenditure involves two factors. One is SAP license cost, the other one is infrastructure cost. So the companies can go for having the own infrastructure. They can purchase the infrastructure outright. Otherwise, there are some other companies which are letting you to use their hardware to host your application also. That is called infra cloud. IaaS. Infra cloud means infrastructure as a service. These are all recent developments in the IT business, right? Infrastructure as infrastructure as service. That means there are some companies which are offering to let their infrastructure for you to host your application, right? Then in the case of application cloud, right, that means in the case of cloud version, there are two versions available, two types of versions are available, private cloud and public cloud. See, basically cloud is keeping your data and hosting your applications in the third party servers. In that case, again, you have the private cloud and public cloud. So private cloud means the servers and their servers are completely used for you only. So the servers are completely led to you, right? Nobody else will be allowed to use those servers. That is called private cloud. Then public cloud means you share your data. I mean, you host your data and application in the servers which are shared by other companies also. That is called public cloud. Suppose your company and my company. You host your data in the same server, and also I also host the data in the same server. Even though our two entities are separate and different, right? Both of us can host our applications and data in the same server of the third party. That is called public cloud. Obviously, the subscription fees for private cloud is more than the subscription fees for public cloud. So that is the thing regarding infrastructure in the case of on-premise application and application in the cloud. Then deployment. Host in-house. Host in-house means completely the total infrastructure is hosted within your company, within your four premises, within your four walls of the premises. That is called in-house. Co-location means, right, you share your, I told you, infrastructure as cloud. In that case, right, you can host some of your data and some of your applications in the infrastructure provided by third parties. In that case, right, co-location, you have to have capital expenditure plus operational expenditure. But when you're depending on total infrastructure of the third parties, right, which is called infra cloud, you have only operating expenditure, that's all. Then in the case of private cloud, right, operating expenditure is more than the operating expenditure of public cloud. See, obviously, I told you, private cloud is a dedicated service to you. But in the case of public cloud, you are sharing your services with some other parties. Suppose if the public cloud, if you are paying 1,000 rupees per year as a subscription for public cloud, it will be around 1,800 to 2,000 per year in the case of private cloud. So all these parameters have to be considered when you're deciding to go either for on-premise edition or cloud edition. Then IS solutions. IS solutions means, IS means industry specific solutions. So in the case of on-premise application, right, we have the IS solutions available. And in the case of applications cloud, in the case of private cloud, industrial specific solutions are available. But in the case of application cloud, public cloud, right, limited applications are available, or sometimes no application is at all available. Then coming to customization. In the case of on-premise, always you have the option to customize as per your requirement. And in the case of cloud version, in the case of private cloud, you have the option of your own customization. But in the case of public cloud, the options for own customization are very, very less. Then releases, very, very important. In the case of on-premise edition, right, every year one release is, one version is released by SAP company every year in the case of on-premise edition. And in the case of cloud version, right, in the case of private cloud, annual version is there. In the case of public cloud, every quarter one version is released by SAP company. Then availability in regions. Available, the on-premise version is available in all the regions of all the countries, right? But in the case of private cloud, right, it is also available in all the countries and all the regions. But in the case of public cloud, right, you have to check with the SAP company. You means the client company which wants to deploy this SAP S/4HANA. And one more difference between on-premise and cloud. Here, in the case of on-premise, capital expenditure is more, but you have the flexibility, right? But in case of cloud, right, capital expenditure is nothing, zero capital expenditure. You have to pay annual subscription, but flexibility is very less. You can't have your own customizations. The extent of customizations are limited. That is one more factor to be considered by the companies while going for either cloud version or this on-premise version. So these are the things relating to these versions, on-premise and cloud. Now, coming to deployment options, right? SAP S/4HANA on-premise edition. This is nothing but your traditional licensing with the customer control of deployment and maintenance. See, it is just similar to owning your SAP ECC 6.0 software. You purchase the licenses with the permanent rights. So in the case of SAP S/4HANA on-premise edition also, you purchase the licenses which you can own perpetually. So when you purchase your own licenses, right, you have the deployment control. In whatever way you want, you can use it. And also, it is your will and wish to have the maintenance. Whatever the customizations you want, you can do it. So this is just similar to owning SAP ECC. This is one deployment option. SAP S/4HANA on-premise is already available with the combination of suite on HANA with Exchange Innovation add-on for the Simple Finance. As of Q4 2015, we are introducing, means this is taken from the SAP certification material. We means here it refers to SAP company. They are introducing SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management Solution. So this is just similar to, right, your ECC, normal ECC ownership only. Then SAP S/4HANA Cloud Enterprise version. This is nothing but this version, cloud version. In that case, subscription licensing with deployment in the private cloud maintained by SAP. So from the introduction of this SAP S/4HANA, right, SAP also has introduced offering the cloud services. Cloud services. So they are offering private cloud, not public cloud. They are offering only private cloud, as per my knowledge. So in that case, if you want to use the cloud version of SAP S/4HANA, you can use the services offered by SAP company in the private cloud. The scope of this solution is close to a full ERP scope, however, focusing on supporting standard scenarios. So when you go for cloud version, right, I told you, we don't have much options to do your own customizations. Always you have to stick to the standard functionalities only. However, focusing on supporting standard scenarios only. You cannot customize the software according to your own business requirements. Always you have to change your business process requirements to suit the standard functionalities and the standard scenarios offered by SAP. Clear? Then SAP S/4HANA Cloud Marketing Edition, Cloud Project Services Edition. Subscription licensing with deployment in the private cloud maintained by SAP. Here it refers to providing simplified key scenarios with a clear focus and priority on the cloud qualities, which are guaranteed across all the UIS, user interfaces, and all processes to ensure that a true SaaS, software as service. SaaS means software as service. In the previously IaaS means infrastructure as a service. Nowadays, the cloud services are offered both in infrastructure and also in the software. It's not necessary to purchase the licenses compulsorily for the complete ownership, perpetual ownership. You can also take the software on the lease. That is called software as service. So all these concepts are introduced when the cloud services are introduced into the IT market. So in the case of SAP HANA Cloud Marketing Edition or Cloud Project Services Edition, this is another version of this SAP S/4HANA. So we have to stick to the standard functionalities offered by SAP Private Cloud. But here, these standard processes, just one second. So when you're using the private cloud services offered by SAP, right, you have the little bit of flexibility also. Less flexibility, more rigidity. That means providing simplified key scenarios with a clear focus and priority on the cloud qualities, which are guaranteed across all the user interfaces and all processes to ensure that a true software as service solution is offered. Obviously, when you go for the private cloud offered by SAP, right, quality is always assured. So these are the different deployment options. So conversion path, deployment options are different and conversion paths are different. So here, when you want to use SAP, right, either in your premise or with the cloud, that is the deployment options, right? But here, suppose if you want to go for on-premise edition, how to convert your existing systems into on-premise editions. And when if you want to use cloud version, how to convert your existing systems into your cloud versions. That is called conversion paths. System conversion. That one option is ERP system. You are using a single ERP system. Let us say ECC 6.0, EHP 5 or EHP 6. That is a single ERP system you are using. Here, the ERP system may be your SAP systems or non-SAP systems also. It may be other ERP systems also. So you are using some ERP, right? Then in that case, you want to go for on-premise edition. So first you have to install your HANA database. Without HANA database, right, SAP S/4HANA cannot have the existence. It can't be run on other databases. Compulsorily, we have to have HANA database. Then you have to upgrade to your software to your ECC 6.0 EHP 7 compulsory or SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management Suite. That is one option. That is called one conversion path. So when you're using only one ERP system, right, how to convert into your SAP S/4HANA? It's nothing but new implementation, right? So first you have to go for HANA database, then you have to upgrade your software to the ECC 6.0 EHP 7 or SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management Suite. Remember, ECC 6.0 EHP 7 can also be used on HANA database, but you can't have the advantages of the SAP S/4HANA suite. Getting the point? It's very, very important. You can use SAP ECC 6.0 EHP 7, right, on your HANA database, or completely you can go for new license of SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management Suite. That is 1909 version. From 1610, it is called SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management Suite. Then suppose you are having multiple systems. So you are multinational company, right? So you are operating in most of the countries. So in different regions of your operations in the world, you are using different ERP systems. In that case, all these ERP systems are to be consolidated. See, ERP system region A, ERP system region B, ERP system region C, right? On-premise or cloud. Consolidation of current regional SAP business suite software landscape or selective data transformation into one global SAP S/4HANA software system. This consolidation is achieved through SLT tool. SLT tool means SAP Landscape Transformation Tool. It's all, these are technical ones, just for your understanding or not understanding, knowledge purpose, or for your awareness purpose, we are discussing all these things. These are all technical things. Then new installation, ERP system and third-party system you are using. In that case, right, new or existing SAP customer implementing a new SAP S/4HANA software system with initial data upload. It is nothing but your new project. Here, first to system conversion, new installation, both are almost all same, right? So as far as projects are concerned, there are two types of projects. One is greenfield implementation. Number two, brownfield implementation. So in the case of greenfield implementation, what happens is the the customer is using or is going to use SAP software, SAP S/4HANA software for the first time. That is called greenfield implementation. It is just similar to implementing SAP ECC. That's it. Greenfield implementation means, right, we are upgrading our versions to SAP S/4HANA. So currently we are the SAP customers. We are using SAP ECC 6.0, some other database. Now we are going to convert our total systems into SAP S/4HANA systems. It is nothing but migration, right? Migration projects. So brownfield implement is nothing but your migration process or migration projects. Then new implementation. This is non-SAP, right? This non-SAP database has to be installed, is to be converted into SAP S/4HANA database, right? Then we have the landscape transformation tools. Here, in the case of multiple ERP systems, right? Multiple SAP ERP systems, as I said, right? Different regions are using different versions of SAP software. First, what they have to do is, they have to be consolidated first. All these ERP systems are to be consolidated. So you have to migrate all the applications or required applications into SAP S/4HANA applications. So consolidation of current regional business suite landscape into one global SAP S/4HANA system. So you can consolidate all the applications like FI, CO, MMSD. Otherwise, you can consolidate only FI and CO into SAP S/4HANA systems globally. Then new implementations. In the case of new implementation, what happens is, what is the scenario of the new implementation? New installation of SAP S/4HANA for customers migrating a legacy system. So first, legacy, any customer legacy system, whatever the legacy system you are using, right? So you are using some other ERP, let us say Oracle. Now you want to go for SAP S/4HANA. That is the new implementation. In that case, what you have to do? First, you have to install the SAP HANA database. On that, SAP S/4HANA core, that means SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management Suite, then SAP Fiori. See, if you implement or if you use SAP ECC 6.0 HP7 on the HANA database, you cannot have the functionalities of Fiori application. But if you use SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management on the HANA database, then you can also have the SAP Fiori applications. That is the difference. As I said, SAP ECC 6.0 EHP7 onwards can be used on HANA database. In that case, you don't have the functionalities. You cannot utilize the functionalities of SAP Fiori application. Actually, right, from the reporting point of view and from the user point of view also, right, SAP Fiori is offering a lot of capabilities, right? The user experience has been changed like anything with the introduction of SAP Fiori applications. So what is this SAP Fiori applications? We have the separate topic on this area in our overview sessions itself. So first you have to install SAP S/4HANA, right? Software provisioning manager, we can use it for the purpose of installation. Again, all these things are taken care by basis consultants only. So if you go for the new implementation of SAP S/4HANA, what are the benefits occurring to customers? Re-engineering and process simplification based on ready-to-run business processes and reference solution delivered with the product. Means here, the ready-made process simplification processes are available in S/4HANA. You need not spend much of the time on re-engineering processes. The simplified processes are already available in the S/4HANA Enterprise Management Suite. So you can ready-madely use those simplified processes. That is one advantage. Then new implementation of industry leading business suite. Of course, everybody will say that only, right? Suppose if you want the customers to use your own solution, you say that you are one of the best in the industry. Of course, in the case of SAP, really it is one of the best in the industry. So when you use the SAP S/4HANA, you are using one of the best industry leading solutions. And predefined migration objects and best practices available in the guided process. So the migration process are also has been simplified very much, right? So SAP has introduced a tool, Migration Cockpit. So this Migration Cockpit contains the pre-guided processes to migrate all your SAP data or non-SAP data from EC 6.0 to your SAP S/4HANA suite. Then scenario 2, system conversion. In this scenario, customers who want to change their current system into SAP S/4HANA system, database, NetWeaver application transition one step. That means, for example, we are using some other database. You may be using any database or you are using SAP HANA database. But on the SAP HANA database, you are using SAP ECC EHP7. That is the scenario. You are using any database. So when you are using any other database, you may be using any other version of SAP ECC 6.0 of any EHP. But when you're using SAP HANA, right, your license should be on SAP EC 6.07, EC 6.0 EHP7 minimum. So you are using any database or SAP HANA. Then you have SAP ERP core. This is SAP ERP core means ECC versions. Then you are using SAP GUI. Then when you are migrating to SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Edition on-premise, first you have to install SAP HANA database. Then on the top of that, you have to install SAP S/4HANA core. That means SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management version. Then you can use either GUI or SAP Fiori or both for the user interfaces. See, SAP is going to make this SAP GUI obsolete as the time passes by, right? The goal of SAP company is to make SAP GUI obsolete. It wants the customers to use SAP Fiori only always. Because in order to have the advantages of this new edition, right, new software, new version, Fiori is very, very important. That's why in order to make the customers experience the capabilities of SAP S/4HANA database and also SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management tool, compulsory the customer should use the SAP Fiori. Then only they can have the fullest advantage of these new versions. It doesn't mean that you should not use SAP GUI. We can use SAP GUI. In that case, we don't have the much capabilities, much advantages from the business user perspective. Always the job of the consultant is always same, more or less. We do always configuration. But from business user perspective, right, SAP Fiori is offering very good capabilities. What are those capabilities? We will discuss. So this is the case in the scenario 2 when the existing customers of SAP wants to use SAP S/4HANA systems. Then scenario 3. In this case, customers who want to consolidate their landscape and carve out selected entities and process into existing SAP S/4HANA system. As I said, right, you have the different entities. That means you have the different company codes using different versions of SAP software, right? Say, for example, you have the two entities. One entity is using SAP GUI, SAP ERP core, and any database or SAP HANA database. And you have the another company code that is also using SAP GUI, SAP ERP core, any database, and SAP HANA. In that case, the applications of both the company codes are consolidated. For the purpose of consolidation of the system landscape, remember, Consolidation doesn't mean that FICO consolidation. It's not that. So the different systems or the different applications are to be consolidated first. Then for the purpose of consolidation of different applications, we use SLT tool, System Landscape Transformation Tools, right? Then we have to have all these individual systems are to be consolidated into SAP S/4HANA, SAP S/4HANA Core, and SAP GUI and SAP Fiori. Any of them or both of them. So customer specific migration project reusing standard migration content. Benefits are stay with the current business processes and move gradually to SAP S/4HANA innovations. So they need not change their process immediately. Over the time, right? They can modify their processes as compatibility with the SAP S/4HANA new suite, new software, and harmonized business processes and shared master data through consolidation. Care out of single entities of the company to SAP S/4HANA and leverage process simplification. Process simplification, all these are advantages to the business users, right? And all these capabilities are inbuilt. So when the business user uses this software, they can experience the benefit of all these things, right? So I'm going to show you the transaction entry both from SAP GUI and also Fiori. So at the time of making the transaction entry through Fiori apps, you can also see the advantage. Then, how the simplification is achieved in SAP S/4HANA, right? See, here we have the master data tables and transaction tables in the sales and distribution module, inventory management module, then material ledger, and also financial accounting. So these are all history tables. These are all historical tables. See, in ECC 6.0, these are all the tables. Primary document tables. Primary document means document tables. So every document contains document header and line items. So in the sales and distribution, VBAK, LIKP, VBRK, VBAP, LIPS, VBRP, VBFA, these are all master data tables. And these master data tables are lying as it is. You see, in the case of sales and distribution, right, the master data tables are not changed. Only the line item tables have been removed. And the fields of these line item tables have been introduced in the universal truth. Then in the metals management, in the inventory management, right, the totals tables and the line item tables have been removed. In document also we have the document header and document line items. So all the tables relating to document have been removed. And the fields of those line item tables are introduced in MATDoc. It is just similar to HANA table. All the financial line item data is available in HANA table, and all the document line items line item fields are available in MATDoc table. Then in the case of material ledger also, right, some of the tables are introduced. These tables we will discuss later on. Then coming to accounting, right, all the document head tables are lying as it is, but only line item tables have been removed. BSIS, BSIT, BSIK, BSID, BSIM, BSAS, BSAT, BSAK, BSAD. Then these are the totals tables of new GL. And these are the cost element line item tables, COSP, COSS, COFIT. All these tables have been removed. Transactional data tables. And the fields of these transactional data tables have been incorporated at HANA table. And BKPF is lying as it is. Document header table is lying as it is. The new table that was introduced in FI is HANA table, which contains the fields of all the line item tables of FI and CO. That's why the reconciliation effort is not at all required in the case of SAP S/4HANA. So the simplified data model, only main tables remaining, no redundancies. Main tables means only master data tables are remaining. Clear separation of master data from the transactional data and reduction of memory footprint. Then principles of one, only one valuation method in the case of material ledger. This material ledger we will discuss later on. Then flexible rebate management instead of cumbersome and expensive redundancies. Then throughput increase. That means the amount of the data you can process at one time is increased like anything. The amount of the data you can process at a time has been increased like anything. So these are the simplifications that have taken place in SAP S/4HANA. So as I said, in the case of SAP S/4HANA, right, universal journal is very, very important. Advocatable. Universal journal or advocatable or single source of truth, all are same, right? So all the values, all the values of the line item tables are available in the single table only. As a result, the reporting performance has been increased like anything. So all values flow in single source, multi-dimensional GL. That means even the GL accounts can be used now as secondary cost elements. Previously, secondary cost elements are created only in controlling and they have the existence only in controlling. And the secondary cost elements are not, secondary cost element do not have corresponding GL accounts in the previous ECC. But now GL account itself will act as a secondary cost element. Then parallel ledger concept is as usually there, but new and very effective functionalities have been introduced in the parallel ledger accounting, right? Then custom defined fields. So what are the functionalities that are introduced in the parallel ledger, right? When we go into deep topic, then I will explain. The parallel ledger and extension ledgers will take nearly a one-day class, right? Theoretical part only it will take one-day class. Configuration is simple, right? But you have to understand the reasons why SAP has introduced this new functionalities in the parallel ledgers, right? Then custom defined fields, extension ledgers. It is the very, very important concept, right? The extension ledger concept is not available in the ECC. The extension ledger concept has been introduced only in SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management Suite. So it is offering very effective and wider functionalities to the client companies, right? What is this extension ledgers, right? Also we will discuss for a one day. I told you, parallel ledgers and extension ledgers, right? It's a topic to be discussed for one day theoretically. Then in the universal journal, right, you have the document line item number. One second. May I know who is this my medium?
Hi, this is Ram.
Okay, Ram. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
So in the ECC, right, a document line item number can contain up to 3 digits. That means in an accounting document, you can post 999 line items only, including all the debits and credits. But in ECC, in S/4HANA, the line item number can be up to 6 digits. Technically, it is possible to have the number line items up to 9,99,999 line items. But for the performance viewpoint, still the number of line items are restricted to 999 only. But in the future versions, right, SAP may remove this limitation also. Then unified extensible currencies. That means as of now, in current ECC, for a company code, we can configure up to 3 currencies. One is company code local currency. The next two currencies are according to your requirement. They are called parallel currencies. Okay, but in SAP S/4HANA, we have the option to configure to use up to 10 currencies for a company code. Of course, we never use that many number of currencies, right? But the functionality is available to the users. I mean, to the client companies, right? So in our class, probably I'm going to show you using of 5 currencies. That is more than enough, right? So SAP predefined currencies 3. In addition to SAP predefined currencies, we can configure and use up to 7 currencies. So in our class, I'm going to show you using the SAP predefined currencies 3, and let us define our own currencies also 2. So total, I'm going to show you using 5 currencies. Then consistent parallel valuation. So parallel valuation also we are going to discuss. Number of ledgers, right? Leading ledgers, non-leading ledgers, extension ledgers. Different ledger types are available in SAP S/4HANA. Standard ledgers, extension ledgers. Basically, there are 2 types of ledgers in SAP S/4HANA. Standard ledgers, number 2, extension ledgers. So the standard ledgers are segregated as leading ledger and non-leading ledger. These concepts you know. But when coming to extension ledgers, there are 3 types of ledgers available. Extension ledgers, simulation ledger, and predictive ledger. These are totally new for us. So we are going to discuss all these concepts in the case of parallel valuations. Then soft close and prediction. So in the current ECC, closing the books of accounts takes a lot of time and a lot of resources we have to use. But with the introduction of SAP S/4HANA, right, the closing operations have been very much streamlined. And also, you can do the predictions with much accuracy. Based on the current financial statements, right, you can predict your future performance with much accuracy. All these functionalities are possible because of introduction of HANA table. In HANA table, all the data is available at one place, that is in one table. Then one more functionality that was introduced is cost of goods sold split, which is called COGS split. What is the COGS split? Here I'm just explaining the new functionalities, but the configuration we will see later on from next week. Probably, right? Tomorrow also we have the overview session. From next week we start in the system. Right? So what is this cost of goods sold split? Just 1 second. I will be back in 1 minute. Yes, I am back. See, cost of goods sold split. Say, for example, today we delivered the goods to the customer. That is called delivery, right? That delivery is posted in SD. Then one accounting document is posted in FI. What is that accounting document? In the case of goods delivery, finished goods stock account is credited. right? Then increase or decrease of stock account or cost of goods sold, COGS account is debited, right? I will do one thing. Let us go to the SAP ECC. See, this is a delivery, right? Posted in SD. Because of delivery posted in SD, this is the FI document that was created, right? See, goods issue or delivery, document type WL. So in the previous ECC, finished goods stock account is created, then increase or decrease of stocks account is credited. Sorry, debited. Increase or decrease of stocks account is debited, right? So from where this value was taken? From the finished goods material master record. So into the finished goods material master record, in the cost accounting tab 2, right, we have the current standard price. The current standard price is calculated in the product cost planning. So the entry is posted with that cost, right? So here in our example, increase or decrease of stock account is debited. So you can configure the system to debit either increase or decrease of stocks or cost of goods sold, according to the configuration you do. So when the cost of goods sold is debited with 20,000 value, that cost of goods sold will contain material cost, labor cost, overheads. So in this 20,000, right, cost of goods sold, how much is the material cost, how much is the labor cost, and how much is the overheads? In the current ECC, that details are not available. Getting the point? The details is not possible. But in S/4HANA, right, the cost of goods sold can be split according to the details you require. That is called COGS split. Cost of goods sold split. Clear? That means in the income statement, right, you have the revenue of 19,000, then cost of goods sold 1,200, right? So this cost of goods sold includes labor 150 rupees, external labor 250 rupees, material fixed cost 300 rupees, material variable cost 250 rupees, overhead 180 rupees, administration 70 rupees. So in this case, what happens is this cost of goods sold split in FI is not available. Please remember. The split of this 1200 is not available in FI in the previous ECC because the line items are posted with the total of cost of goods sold. If you want to have the details of this cost of goods sold, you have to rely upon costing based COPA. But costing based COPA has its own limitations. What is the difference between costing based COPA and account based COPA? In the case of costing based COPA, the values are derived from the value fields. In the case of account based COPA, right, the values are derived from the GL account balances. Suppose if you are not implementing COPA, then the details are not possible because you did not implement costing based COPA. So with the introduction of SAP S/4HANA, right, the COPA value fields or the fields of these COPA tables are also available in the docket table. As a result, we can have this segregation, right, in the SAP S/4HANA profitability analysis. Say, for example, labor and external labor can be segregated as cost of goods sold labor 400 rupees. The entry is posted with this. Then material fixed cost and material variable cost is segregated as COGS material 550. Then COGS overhead 250. That means here, what is the total cost of goods sold? 1200. Now, in SAP S/4HANA, when you deliver the goods to a customer, the entry posted is finished goods stock account is created with 1200. But the debit goes to COGS material 550 debtor, COGS labor 400 debtor, COGS overhead 250 debtor to finished goods stock account 1200 rupees. Clear or not? If anybody wants, I will explain again. Previously, the entry is cost of goods sold account data to finished goods stock account.
Could you explain that again, please?
Sorry?
Could you explain that, please?
Yeah. In the normal ECC, for delivery document, in SD, FI corresponding document $1,200 according to this example. So cost of goods sold is $1,200, no? To finished goods stock account. $1,200, that's it. But this cost of goods sold contains material cost, labor cost, overheads. So what in this 1200, right? What is your material cost? What is your labor cost? What is your overheads? That information is not available, right? But in SAP S/4HANA, right? COGS labor, cost of goods sold, material first let us take. Material account debtor, how much? 550. Then COGS labor account debtor 400. Then material 550, 400, COGS overhead 250. That is the difference. So this is called COGS split. Clear, Charles?
Yes, it's clear now.
Okay. So this function is available in SAP S/4HANA, but this is not available in ECC. So more detailed data is available with the help of the COGS split, but little configuration is required. What is that configuration? Other configuration is same as we have done in our product costing, right? In addition to that, we need to develop some more little configuration. What is that? I will show you during the configuration phase. This is called cost of goods sold split. Then production cost to variance split. What is production cost to variance? See, we have the two modules in product costing: product cost planning and cost object controlling. So using the product cost planning, you can find out the standard cost of product, the standard cost per unit of output. Now, in the product costing of the standard cost per unit of output is calculated in the product cost planning. We have seen already. You know, all of you, right? Now, in the cost object controlling, you have one more module, product cost by order. So in this case, what happens is, the production order is created by PP end user in PP module, right? Then, whenever you create the production, whenever you means the user, whenever the user creates the production order in PP, the system automatically calculates the planned cost of producing that production order. Say, for example, take Sony company. So Sony company is producing and selling the television sets whose length of the screen is 75 inches. 75 inches means it's a really big screen, right? Generally, they are not used in the homes. They'll be used in the big hotels, right? That's why generally this variant is not produced by Sony company. Whenever there is an order, then only the Sony company will produce the 75 inches TVs and that are delivered to the customer. So today we got one order from big 5-star hotel for the supply of 500 numbers of 75 inches TVs. Now, what is the estimated cost of producing one TV? That is called standard cost per unit of output. That is calculated in product cost planning. Then, today we started the production of 500 TVs. That means the PP end user will create one production order. So whenever the production order, the end user in PP will create the production order for the production of 500 units of TVs. Whenever the production order is created, system automatically calculates the planned cost of producing 500 TVs. Now the production is started. You'll be going on allocating the expenditure, and you'll be going on allocating the materials to the production order, and so on. At the end of the production order, you arrive some expenditure. That is your actual expenditure of or actual cost of producing 500 TVs. This is called simultaneous costing. One second. Yes, this is called simultaneous costing. Okay. Now, the planned cost of producing production order is, let us say, 30 lakh rupees, but actual cost came to 32 lakh. So 2 lakh is called production cost variance. So there is, I'm sorry, just 1 second. Sorry for the interruption. Yeah. So we have incurred 2 lakhs more as cost of production. Why this 2 lakhs more is there? This 2 lakhs more is called production variance, and also it is called negative variance, because the actual cost is more than the planned cost. That means it shows your inefficiency. So this is called unfavorable variance. In this 2 lakhs extra cost. What is your material extra cost? What is your labor extra cost? What is your overhead extra cost? That bifurcation is not available in the previous ECC. But in S/4HANA, the production cost variance can be bifurcated according to the details you require. Say, for example, in the 2 lakhs variance, your material variance is 1 lakh. Your labor variance is 50,000. And your overhead variance is 50,000. So total variance comes to 2 lakhs. Now, this material variance may be due to you have used increased quantity, or the price of the material might have been increased, or both. So in every variance, you have the 2 types, input variance and price variance. Input variance occurs when you use the more quantity of the raw material than stipulated. That means in order to produce 1 unit of output, you require 10 units of raw material A. That is your plan. That is the standard. But you have used 12 units of raw material A actually. So when you increase the quantity, the cost is also increased, no? So here the price of the material is same, but there is negative variance because of increase in the consumption of material quantity. This is called input variance. Clear? Now, what is price variance? The standard quantity to be consumed is 10 units of raw material. So in the actual production also, you have used only 10 units. But in the standard cost, the price per unit of raw material A is 10 rupees. But actually, when you purchase the material, you purchase it at 12 rupees per unit. Quantity consumed is same, but the price of the material is more. Because of this also, your raw material consumption cost may increase, no? Right? This is called price variance. Similarly, in the case of labor also, there will be input variance, there will be price variance. See, if the cost is more because of increase in the quantity consumed, that is called input variance. If the increase in the cost is increased, if the increase in the cost happens due to the increase in the price per unit, that is called price variance. So in the production cost variance, say for example, here you have the production cost variance is 100 rupees. Then this production cost variance, input price variance is 40 rupees, input quantity variance is 40 rupees, and scrap is 5 rupees, and lot size variance is 15 rupees. So this is called production variance. If you want to have the details of production variance, right, you have to use costing based COPA. Means the information is available only in controlling. If you don't implement controlling, or if you don't implement costing based COPA, then this information is not available. That is the case in the case of previous ECC. But in SAP S/4HANA, right, the fields of the account based COPA are also included in HANA table. So from the HANA table itself, you can get this information. That means input price variance, see, input price variance, input quantity variance, 40, 40, 80 rupees is available in the GL accounts, 80 rupees. Lot size variance, 15 rupees, scrap is 5 rupees. That is called production cost variance. So the production cost variance split. So the production cost variance split is not available in the previous ECC. But in ECC 6, S/4HANA, this production cost variance is available. Production cost variance split is available, I'm sorry. So at the macro level, these are the changes. When you go to micro level, right, we have the many changes, right? There are some configuration changes, right? Functionality changes. All these things we will discuss when we start. Field wise also, I will show you the new changes, right? Now, the next topic is theory, right? This theory we will see after 10 minutes break. Let's have a break of 10 minutes. Ali, are you there? Avinash? Sandan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Charles?
I've come back.
Okay. Ranganath?
Thank you.
Ranganath? Reddy Prasad?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ram?
Yes, Lakshman, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay. Sachin?
Yeah, I'm here, sir.
Okay. Swagat?
Yes, Lakshman.
Okay. Tejashri?
Yes, Lakshman.
Okay. Yes, Fiori. It is a very, very important innovation, new suite, right? In the new product, SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management. SAP Fiori is the very, very important innovation. So because of this important innovation only, right, the user experience has been extended and improvised like anything. See, SAP Fiori is a platform that provides the porting of applications on the mobile devices. SAP Fiori is based on SAP technology platform called NetWeaver. So here, using Fiori app, it's just an app, just similar to your apps in the mobile, right? Nowadays, right, in iPhones, right, Windows-based phones and Android phones, we are using different apps for different purposes, right? Similarly, SAP Fiori apps also have been developed to transact the data, to post the transactions, to generate the reports, and also you can see the master data, etc., etc. And these applications or these apps, right? SAP Fiori itself is a separate module, right? And they are called Fiori consultants. So these apps are developed by Fiori consultants. But defaultly, some apps are already defined. In the first version, right, that is 1503, but that is the first version of this SAP S/4HANA. In the version 1503, I think SAP has developed only 200 apps. But now in the current version 1909, there are 15,000 plus apps are there in all the applications. So these Fiori apps can be installed in your Android-based mobiles, tabs, then iOS-based mobiles and tabs, and Windows-based mobiles and tabs. SAP Fiori enables applications to be used on desktops, tablets, and smartphones. SAP Fiori supports HTML5, Hypertext Markup Language 5. So this is the technical things, right? I'm also not aware of all these things. I'm just giving you the information only for your awareness purpose. Anyhow, we are not going to develop any apps. That is not our job. The initial release had few applications to start with and gradually increased it to complete the SAP Business Suite. As of 2014, SAP Fiori is free to license for some customers. So when they have introduced this SAP Fiori, the licenses are free for some of the customers. They allow these customers to use the apps freely because they want the feedback from the customers. Right? Based on their feedback, they can decide what are the developments that are to be carried out in the future versions of the apps. So at the beginning, the license to use this SAP Fiori apps is free. So SAP Fiori is available for iOS, Android, and Windows mobile platforms. See, here, even when you are in the traveling, if you have the internet connection, right, you can see the reports. With the help of the mobile, if you have the internet connection in the mobile, that is available even you're traveling also, right? You can see the reports, you can analyze the reports. You can interact with your business users, other business users, right? That is the beauty of these SAP Fiori apps. Even from the mobile also, you can generate the reports, you can post the entries, you can enter the documents, etc., etc. So SAP Fiori user experience, UX means user experience, for more roles and lines of businesses. SAP Fiori UX supports a variety of roles in the lines of businesses, which include HR, finance, manufacturing, procurement, and sales. Here, these roles have been developed keeping in view the roles of the users. Because based on your role only, you need to access the screens, you need to access the other applications, etc. So these apps are role specific, like bank accountant, accounts receivable manager, accounts receivable accountant, accounts payable manager, accounts payable accountant. Like that, based on the different roles, the apps have been developed. What I mean to say here is apps are role specific. And these apps are available for multiple lines of businesses in the area of HR, finance, manufacturing, etc. Basically, there are three types of apps, including transactional apps that allow the users to perform transactional tasks. Transactional apps means the apps which are used to post your business transactions, like F-02. You can post GL transactions, you can post invoices, right? I mean, purchase invoices, sales invoices, right? So in order to post the day-to-day business transactions, the apps are available. The apps which are used to post the day-to-day business transactions are called transactional apps. Then analytical apps. The second one is analytical apps that provide users role-based insight into the key performance indicators. That means, say for example, you are displaying customer balance display. There is one app, customer balance display, right? It's not used to post your transaction. What is the purpose of, see, suppose if you go to FD10N, customer balance display in SAP GUI, what are the actions you do there? You display the balances. From the balances, you can display the line items, right? If you double click on the total, you can display the line items, right? And for each line item, you can see the details of payment terms, baseline date, etc., right? Similarly, for the same activity, the app is also available. Display a customer account balance. So this is called analytical app. So from this display customer account balance app, you can dig down further. Means you can see what are the invoices that are due. And for each invoice, you can see the due date. And for each invoice, if it is overdue, for how many number of days that invoice is overdue, and what is the payment history of the customer. So you can go on digging down into the app. These are called analytical apps. These are called analytical apps. Then fact sheets that display contextual information and key facts about central objects used in the business operations. These fact sheets apps are also called 360 degrees apps. It provides you the information based upon the context you are going down into the app. This I will clearly explain you while doing the transactions through SAP Fiori apps. So the three types of apps are what? Transactional apps. Number two, analytical apps. Number three, fact sheet apps. Then Fiori's collection app apps around 200. It is in the first version. Created and designed by SAP. They are available under SAP Fiori brand name. You have to buy licenses for using it. Front-end technology used in these apps is SAP UI5. So the brand name is SAP Fiori, right? Now, if you want to use them, you have to purchase the licenses. And the front-end technology used in these apps is SAP UI5, User Interface 5, which includes HTML5, JavaScripts, and CSS, whereas data is consumed from the backend using OData services through SAP NetWeaver Gateway. These are all technical again. Fiori applications can run on mobile devices with browsers, but you have to set up reverse proxies to access the data from the backend. This is also purely technical. And Fiori applications are examples of responsive in design. They can be automatically fit into screen on according to the size. That means they are responsive in design means, suppose you are using 6 inches screen mobile. Suppose if you want to post a document in GL, you will open the app in your 6 inches mobile screen. that app is totally fit to your screen automatically. Suppose you are trying to post one transaction to the GL through your tab. Generally, the tab's screen size is around 10 inches. So the app in which you can post the GL transaction is automatically fitting into the size of that tab. That is called responsive in design. So the system automatically fits the size of the app based on the screen size of the device you are using. And these applications are lightweight applications and are not fit for heavy transactional applications. That means, right, they don't occupy much of the database. They are very light in the size. That means you don't require huge amount of the database in your mobiles. Means you don't require huge amount of the storage space in your device to access the apps. That is the meaning of lightweight. CSS language means cascading style sheets. Fondly referred to as CSS is a simple design language intended to simplify the process of making web pages presentable. This is actually the language to design your web pages, right? So in the design of the apps, the CSS language is also used. CSS is the language for describing the presentation of web pages, including colors, layout, and fonts. It allows one to adapt presentation to different types of devices, such as large screens, small screens, or printers. CSS is independent of HTML and can be used with any XML-based markup language. These are also all technical. I also don't have much knowledge regarding this. I'm not a technical guy. Now, in which direction the SAP apps have been developed? What is the main key points borne in mind while designing these apps? Design with the mobile mindset. So SAP has designed and developed these apps with the intention of fitting these apps into any mobile. Because mobile technology is going to change the life of human beings like anything, right? Similarly, the business technology is also going to be changed with the mobile technology. That's why the mobile mindset, whatever the mobile developments that may be coming up in the future, your apps should be fit into that requirements. Keeping that point in view, SAP has developed these all mobile apps. Provide one entry point for the user. In most of the cases, right, the number of screens to be used are minimized and one point entry of data is provided. Means in one screen itself, you can enter all the transactional data which you require. So means the SAP wants to enable the users to enter the data in one screen of app itself. So the SAP wants to make the work of the user very easy. Keeping that point in view, SAP has developed these apps. Provide coherence for common activities. Coherence means consistency. So for all the common activities, consistency is provided. Know and provide the user context. Based on the user purpose, right, the screens have been developed. That means, say for example, you're displaying the balance in the GL account. So in the first screen, right, you see that the system will display the balance is 10 lakhs. What are the details of this balance? That's your purpose. Your purpose is what? After knowing the total balance on hand, now you want to see what are the details of these balances. How this 10 lakhs balance has been arrived. For that in SAP GUI, you double click on the total, right? Similarly, in the app, what is your purpose now? I want to see the details. For that, one button is provided in the app itself. By clicking on that button, the system will display the details. This is called context responsive. Then provide brand coherence. So Means you can customize, the user can customize the appearance of the login screen according to his requirements. That is called brand coherence. Provide meaningful data integration, enables customers to adapt and users to personalize. You can personalize the login screen of apps. Home screen of the app, you can customize. Means you can put your photo also. User photo. Your photo means user photo also you can put there. That is called customization. And you can customize the screen colors, right? Language, fonts, all these things you can customize in the apps according to user requirements. For example, I like Calibri. I'm just giving an example, right? Font. I like Calibri font. Some of you may like Times Roman font. So you can also customize in the apps the font sizes, font formats. Of course, Calibri font size and Calibri font and Times New Roman fonts are not available. I'm just giving one example, right? Then benefits. What are the benefits of these Fiori applications? Renault's most broadly and frequently used common business functions like workflow, lookups, self-service tasks based on exclusive user research. Provides a simple and easy to use experience across the devices, desktop, tablet, smartphones, etc. Leveraging the responsive design. Using the responsive design. I told you, on the size of the device you are using, right, the apps will be fit. So for that, they have leveraged the responsive design. Sorry, this feature has been achieved through responsive design and enables our customers to leverage their existing SAP investments using SAP UI5 and SAP Network Gateway for end-to-end extensibility of the solution and connected to any SAP backend system. So these apps can be connected to any backend systems, right? Of course, a lot of technical parameters are also there to be taken into consideration to use these apps. Now, how these SAP Fiori apps are going to reduce the burdens on the users. Say, for example, let us take one example. You have one transaction post incoming payments, right? So you can post the incoming payments through SAP GUI, either to the transaction code F-04 or F-28 or FB08. Otherwise, in SAP S/4HANA, in the Fiori app, right, you can post incoming payment. So what is the comparison between these two? The comparison between posting the incoming payment to SAP GUI and posting the incoming payments from SAP Fiori. If you want to post one transaction to SAP GUI, it takes, for the experienced user I'm saying, it takes 1.26 minutes in the normal GUI. And he has to perform 27 clicks. And the screen changes 14 times. And fields to be filled is 14 fields to be filled. But if you use the SAP Fiori app, right, within 15 seconds, the user can post the incoming payment. So there is 31% reduction in the time duration. And 17 clicks are enough. There is 37% reduction of the clicks. Screen changes only two times the screen changes. But in SAP GUI, 14 times the screen changes. And fields to be filled is 7, right? In the case of SAP GUI, fields to be filled is 14. So in order to show you this difference between SAP GUI and SAP Fiori, for the post incoming payments, there is one video in YouTube, but that video was deleted now. So I have taken one more video for your purpose. This video is available now in YouTube. This is uploaded by SAP only. See, here, experience transformation, SAP ERP with SAP GUI versus SAP S/4HANA with SAP Fiori user experience, sales order fulfillment. So if you receive the sales order, you deliver the goods against the sales order. This is the sales transaction actually. So in order to post the sales order through SAP GUI, how much time the user will take, how many number of clicks he has to perform. But if you use SAP user Fiori user, sorry, if you use SAP Fiori UX, how many number of clicks you have to perform, how much time you take, this comparison is available in this video, right? Just listen to the video and look at the video. See, SAP ERP with SAP GUI, right? These are the transactions that are performed to fulfill the sales order delivery. Then in SAP Fiori UX, right? These are the activities that are involved to perform the sales order delivery, right? See, important. This video will showcase how an internal sales representative works on the sales order fulfillment scenarios. Using SAP ERP transactions with SAP GUI on the left side, in comparison to SAP S/4HANA application with SAP Fiori UX on the right side. Note that there may be variations on what is shown in the video depending upon user habits and best practices. It is just a disclaimer statement, right? Look at the duration, clicks and fields field. See here, the process in SAP Fiori is stopped, but still processing in SAP GUI is going on. Clear now? That is the use of these Fiori apps, right? So click 62 in the case of SAP GUI, but there are only 33 clicks if you use SAP Fiori. Fields field is 13, right? But in the case of SAP Fiori, only one field is filled in. That's how the speed of the transaction processing has been increased with the help of SAP Fiori. So without Fiori, you cannot experience the capabilities of SAP S/4HANA. Right? This is SAP official site, I think, SAP Technology. If you want, you can subscribe this. Then, the features of these apps we will discuss in tomorrow's class. Any questions from anybody? Please first raise your hands, then we'll come one by one. Any questions from anybody? Okay, then see you tomorrow same time, right? Ranganath, you can use the same link tomorrow also. Every day you can use the same link.
Okay, Lakshman, thank you.